Here at Top 5s, we get a ton of personal paranormal stories from viewers who have never shared them before. Oftentimes, they do not wish for their encounters to be presented in a video, but there are those who are looking for answers and want some reassurance or information on what they have experienced. This is the main reason we started the story section on the Top 5's website, so people could share their very own encounters with the world and get real, honest feedback. If you haven't already checked out the site, I highly recommend it. The stories over there will blow your mind, and I can't think of anything better than sitting in bed at night, especially in October, and reading them. But save that for after you've enjoyed this video, because here are 5 terrifying paranormal encounters, photos, videos and mysteries that have been sent in to us, many of which have never been shared before. Hit the lights, sit back and enjoy. Spooked Seattle. The following photograph was sent to me by a viewer who was visiting his family in Seattle, and being aware of the many haunted places in Seattle, decided to go on a tour called Spooked in Seattle. And that's where he caught these photographs. Now here is the backstory. They were taken at Seattle's famous Underground. The Underground was formed when the city was rebuilt on top of itself after the Great Fire of Seattle in 1889. Around that time, Seattle was a notoriously rough place, with prostitution and gambling commonplace, along with quite a few murders. However, in 1907, the Underground was condemned for fear of bubonic plague, and the area was left abandoned, later being used as illegal flop houses, gambling halls, speakeasies and opium dens. Nowadays it's in ruins, although a small section has been made safe for tourists and ghost tours, and it's renowned for paranormal activity, thought to be haunted by the neighbourhood's murdered souls. So did this viewer capture one of these in this photograph? He has assured me that it's not been tampered with in any way. What do you think? House-sitting intruder. This video clip was sent to me by Erin. It was shot by one of her boyfriend's co-worker's sisters, and it's pretty strange. The sister was house-sitting in Kansas City, Missouri, and was videoing the homeowner's dogs so she could send them the footage to reassure them they were okay. After she sent the video over, the homeowner asked who was that in the background of the video. She re-watched it and could clearly see someone in the background walking through the doorframe. They look almost transparent and seem to be looking in the direction of the girl filming. Apparently, the girl was pretty creeped out and called the police, but after investigating, they found no signs of forced entry and no evidence that anyone was in the house other than her. I'm pretty sure this hasn't been tampered with and is 100% genuine. That's not to say it's definitely a ghost, but what do you think of it? Poltergeist. This video was sent to me by Benjamin, who lives with his friend Dave in a remote area of Donegal in the Republic of Ireland. The pair moved into the house around 6 months ago, and from the very first week, odd occurrences started to happen. A lot of things kept going missing, and strange noises could be heard. When Benjamin's red notebook went missing, he thought it was Dave moving it. Dave denied touching it, yet inexplainably it was found in the attic a week or so later. It had claw-like marks on the pages, and at first Benjamin thought it might have been a rat. But on the 8th of July 2017, things changed. Benjamin was in the house alone watching TV when he heard what sounded like screeching and banging coming from the back of the house. He got up to investigate and went outside, but everything seemed fine. As he walked back to go inside, the front door had locked itself. This was strange, as it was the type of door that could only be locked from the inside. Benjamin tried the back door, and as he looked into the kitchen, he saw a very tall figure standing inside. He then saw it walk into the hallway, and the lights in the house started to turn on and off. By this point, Benjamin was pretty freaked out. He was locked outside of the house with no phone and some strange stuff going on inside. Thankfully, Dave returned shortly after, and the pair talked about what had happened. They decided to set up Benjamin's phone and leave it filming while they were both out. This is what they captured. When Benjamin returned that evening, the room was in a total mess, with things thrown everywhere. The phone, which you can see being moved at the end, was later found on the kitchen table. Now, Benjamin has captured many more videos like this when the house has been empty, and is looking for answers on what's going on. What's your thoughts? Rob Davis, RAF pilot. This one was sent to me by Rob, and it's a video that actually made the national newspapers in the UK a couple of years ago. However, the story was not portrayed exactly how it was, and Rob has asked if he can put the record straight by featuring it in a Top Fives video, telling the true story of the extraordinary event they captured that night. In August 2015, Rob and his colleague Chris both worked at a radio station in Newcastle, and had been driving back following a piece they had been recording in Northumberland. Chris was driving and Rob was the passenger, and they were driving along the A196. It was just a narrow country road, but Rob jumped when he saw a man's face at the passenger side window. The car must have only narrowly missed hitting the man, as it was that close. Here is Rob's exact account of what he saw. "I saw so much, his face just stared straight ahead. He didn't even flinch or take a step back like most people would do if a car was that close to you. But the bit that sticks out the most was that he was in RAF uniform from World War II. He had a leather helmet with goggles, and he was holding this under his right arm. The first thing I said to Chris was that he could be a hitchhiker, and we joked he could be a ghost. We turned the car around, and I started filming on my phone, thinking I could have a funny video of us chatting to a random hitchhiker. And the original plan was to post it to Facebook and post a silly caption that we were picking up a serial killer. We drove past him again. This time he was on Chris's side of the car, with us facing the other way. So we did another U-turn in the road, and I had the window wound down. This time he had vanished. Literally, within 10 seconds he had gone. We drove back again, and no sign. This is a piece of road miles from anywhere, so you wouldn't expect to see anybody out there, especially when it's almost midnight. We initially thought it could be an accident victim, as the road always has fresh flowers where accidents have occurred. We sent the video to the local newspaper, and they said they would run a story on it. The next day, it all went crazy. They agreed that the man in the screenshot resembled an RAF pilot, and so brought a historian to look into the area. They phoned me up to get some quotes, and told me that during World War II, a plane had come down on a field owned by Middleton Farm during a training drill. Also in 1999, there was another RAF crash in the same area. They had the name of the pilot, where he was from, and even the plane number. What's more strange is that the spot he is stood at is next to the entrance to a field which was once Middleton Farm. That is all from the man himself, and he is confident what he saw that night was the ghost of an RAF pilot. What's your thoughts? The Skirrid photograph. This next photo was sent to me by Kate, and was taken by her friend Kelly outside the Skirrid Inn near Abergavenny, South Wales, in October 2016. Now, you should know the history of the Skirrid Inn, because it was featured in the first episode of this month's Most Haunted Locations in the World series. But if you didn't see that video, then the inn is not only the oldest pub in Wales, but it's also supposedly the most haunted. It was the place that criminals were taken to, where they were tried and hung within the building. The inn is said to be haunted by a variety of ghosts, and many believe it's the macabre history of the building that has left it filled with paranormal entities. Now, when looking at the photograph, you would think that it's just a visitor to the pub standing in the background. However, no one spotted them at the time of the photograph. The person who sent this to me says that Kelly has in no way photoshopped it, and they were not aware of anyone around the building at the time who resembled the figure. Given the inn's haunted reputation, they believe the photo contains a possible paranormal being. What do you think? So that's 5 viewer-submitted paranormal pictures, videos and stories. I hope you've enjoyed and are loving this creepy month. And again, if you haven't checked out the Top Fives website, then I really would, because I think you'll love it. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.